Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this series I'm actually going to deep dive around the importance of waking up early, especially if you're a working mum like myself. It's so important to be able to carve out a few hours a day to actually work on yourself and also plan out your business so that you can actually succeed, because when you're caught up with your family life, there's actually never feels like there's any time left for us. So let's talk about the first topic though, which is what is the benefit and why did I pursue in waking up early in the first place? I've always thought that I woke up early when it's like 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. but I never really thought that I would ever wake up at 4 a.m. because definitely I got the idea from reading, articles of famous people, rich people who wake up really early. I've always been curious, but I always go, nah, that's just insane. I don't know how I'm ever going to do that. And so it was only one day when I saw one of my virtual assistants in person. We were in Vietnam together, and all of a sudden she woke up. Well, I woke up at 8:30 and my eyes were still closing, half closing, and she came out with so much energy. She was like, "Miss Lin, what coffee would you like? Let me make for you." It wasn't that she was awake and she spoke to me. It was the energy level that I was surprised with. I'm like, oh my God, like, what time did you wake up? How come you're so alive? And she's like, oh, I'm used to waking up at 4 a.m. all these years. And I'm just used to it. And then by the time, normal people wake up, I've already done so much and I feel fully alive. And so that gave me the idea, not the idea, but the belief that if she can do it, then I can do it. And so that's when I started to experiment. When I went back to Australia, I started to wake up early. And I remember normally waking up maybe 6:37 and try to wake up at 5. And it was hard, but then I also realized that there wasn't much time between 5 a.m. But by the time you brush your teeth, go to the toilet, whatever else, you're left with even smaller amount of time. And so within 2-3 weeks, I decided I'm going to really train myself to wake up at 4 a.m. So I have more hours, more quality hours so that I can actually do the things that I plan out to do. So when I started waking up at 4 a.m., I think my husband was like, what are you doing to yourself? And I think a lot of people who I come across, even when I was talking about 4 a.m., because nowadays I wake up at 3, and I'm going to tell you how I challenge myself to go even harder. But basically he says, you're crazy, why do you have to wake up so early? And he just doesn't understand, because as a mum, when you have to do things like drop off your kids, prepare lunch before, and also you've got your own dreams and vision of your life, and if there's no time to do it, how are you ever going to do it? And so I knew there were certain things in life that was important. For example, time to meditate, time to journal, time to write down your gratitude, time to plan out your days, or just take control of your time or your life. And the only way I could think of is waking up early, because usually I find myself late at night, I start to lose my energy, lose my willpower. There's just not much of me left, to give. And so I knew that the only way that I can take back some time is waking up early. And so people around you, like my husband, will discourage you and make you feel like, oh, you're crazy, you should just go back to what normal people do. But I always believe that if you want a better result for your life, you should always try to do things that normal people don't. Now, the first myth that I had to kind of overcome was the fact that I needed 8 hours sleep. And all my life, we were told and taught that we need minimum 8 hours sleep. And if anything, the more sleep you have, the more better you feel. But this is actually a myth, because when I started to allow myself 7 hours of sleep, I was still functioning okay. Now I found my optimum time, which is 6 hours. I think anything less than that, I can feel the difference. So it's not that I just went straight to doing this hardcore 4 a.m. wake up. I actually experimented and see how my body was feeling. And so now that I found that when I sleep 6 hours minimum, I would actually feel really good. I think if I even go as far as 8 hours, that's when I start to feel really sluggish. And so one thing is just get off that belief, because when you believe that, oh, I need a minimum 8 hours, but then I need to, stay awake and watch some Netflix at 10, otherwise I can't function. These are some of the things, the negative talks or the beliefs that is holding you back from being able to actually pursue a habit like this. So when people hear that I wake up at 3, the first thing they kind of thought is like, how about your social life? Like, what happens when you need to go to a party? So the way I live is that nothing should be so strict and and concrete that it takes away the freedom of life. And so when I talk about this routine, I'm talking about when you're most productive and optimum, meaning the weeknights, weekdays, when it's supposed to be a normal, time of the year where every day you go to work or you work and you come home. That's when you can have a routine. So I often stick to my schedule and sleep at 9 p.m. and wake up at 3 nowadays. But then, of course, sometimes Friday night comes and I'm invited to a birthday party or I have something on. I'm not gonna be one of those routine baby that needs to sleep now, right? I would actually stay awake till later, and then I change my alarm to allow myself a new 6 hours. So if I sleep at 12, that means I'm going to wake up at 6. Sometimes if I'm drinking too much, I know that, and then there's nothing on tomorrow, it's just a weekend, then I would even have no alarm and just allow my body to sleep in as much as possible. So don't treat this as if this is it and you're never going to have your freedom again. No, this is the usual structure of your life that provides the most optimum benefits for you. But then those odd days, you can still be like every other human beings and stay as late as you want and wake up late as you want as well. So when it comes to waking up really early as well, people feel like it's like, oh my God, it's a chore, it's a pain. It's like, why are you doing that to yourself? I actually, once you've gone through it and you reap the benefit of it, you actually get excited. So when I'm out of routine for a few days, vacationing or doing other things with friends, I actually can't wait for Monday to come so that I could get back to my routine. And because I know what my brain feels like, how my body feels like, the energy I get when I'm in my routine. So basically, until you've gone through that, and like when people talk about exercise, it's so good, you have so much energy. There is a period at the beginning of exercising that you're like, oh my God, it's such a dread. It's like, I don't enjoy this. I'm just doing it so I could look good, but I don't like this. But you'll eventually build this new habit that when you don't work out, you feel worse. And you now understand why it's so fun working out. It's actually not a problem. And so waking up becomes this new, almost enjoyable hobby of mine. When I wake up early and I can see the sunrise, or I can feel like, oh my God, I got so much things done prior to people waking up. I feel so energetic, the feeling that I can't get when I sleep in and feel sluggish. So hence, I don't dread. So Monday comes, I'm like excited to wake up early, put the alarm on, and don't worry, I still feel like everyone else where you're like, oh my God, the alarm went off. I'm right in the middle of my dream. I'm not ready to wake up yet. But because I have a hack such as putting my alarm outside of my room, I couldn't help to really wake up fast, so I could turn the alarm off. So that shocked my body and I'm already like awake. And so these little hacks allow me to not fall into the default, lazy human being that we all are, where we feel like it's more cozy to sleep. But because I put the alarm outside, I run out, turn it off, I'm already awake. Well, hacking myself to be awake. And so I get to the momentum of things, brush my teeth and, get onto my computer. And that's when I get to do the things that actually serve my body and my mind, which is meditation, writing down my prayers, writing down what my day is going to be, what my intention is going to be. And then, allow an hour or so working on those important things that I need my brain in the morning for. So I find that during the day, you get so caught up in your daily work, your creativity goes out the window, or you're not in the mood or motivation to actually think or work on the hard stuff. So most of the time, most people actually procrastinate by choosing to tick off a lot of easy stuff. But I find in the morning, I'm so much more creative and my brain is just a lot smarter that one problem that I could do in the morning for like 10 minutes would take me hours during the day, because I just find that my mind isn't as productive or effective as I am in the morning. When I'm off my morning routine, I feel like I'm not me. I'm not 100% back to normal yet. And so those productive morning where I have a morning routine, everything's so structured, it really affects my happiness level. Like I feel so alive, so like completely fulfilled. Who the hell would have that kind of time if they didn't wake up that early, right? And then the other thing why it makes it fun for me is that then I got to really think, okay, today, what's going on? Like, what's my intention? And I set my 2 intention is I am feeling like this, or I am being like this. So I've chosen my feeling for the day. Now, when I don't have that time to write that, I feel like I'm reacting to the day. I have no idea about what today is. I'm just going to see how it goes. And that can create a lot of anxiety for people. I feel like when you planned out your day, it usually goes according to plan. I swear, so many times I might be going through something quite challenging. And so what I want to feel is, I want to feel calm today, or I want to be grateful. So I already proactively knew that it could be a stressful day today because I have to go through, make some big decisions or something. But then I'm choosing this feeling that I then got to enjoy that feeling for the rest of the day. And then I also have added more columns to my Notion template now where it has the night routine. I'm still practicing that. So some nights I'm actually way too late. I remember I tell you guys that I don't have any more willpower at the end of the night. I feel, I've lost all the motivation. So I find it the most challenging trying to do a night routine. And my night routine is actually just, before you go to bed, let's write down how's your day today, 1 to 5 star, and then choosing, what was the challenge and what did you learn today? Just a really like a nice recap summary of the day so that you can sleep in peace. But I struggle with that night routine. The other thing that I do in the morning is writing a prayer. Because I'm a new Christian and I realize in the power of actually praying for something. It's not just always for me. I swear I've been praying for different team members or family members, or if I'm about to attend an event, I'm praying for the weather, I'm praying for a lot of things. And I then also have a column of all those answered prayers. And it's really nice to reflect. When you reflect, you feel like you have a lot more control in your life. And then you also get to be grateful for the things that have happened for you, the things that you wish for and has happened for you. And so all those things, by the time I finish all of that routine and then also do the hard work. So I said that my brain is really smart in the morning. So that means I tackle those hard stuff. And I only have to do one. It doesn't have to be like trying to tick the boxes. I'm just doing one hard stuff. And then once I finish that, that's when 6:30 a.m. comes along. I feel like I'm ready to exercise. Because what happens when we have so much work to do or things that we want to do that we feel is more urgent? Exercise becomes a not so important. I'll just do it later. But because my whole morning has been so productive, by the time it's 6:30 and I have my exercise routine before the kids wake up, I am ready to work out and not have anything distracted in my mind. So I'm such a big advocate of waking up early because as a working mum, as a single mum for so many years, I really felt the struggle of having time for yourself to fill up your own cup. And the only thing that has really made a big change in my life is waking up early. And so one thing that I always encourage you to do is actually list down all the things that you do want to do with your extra time. It's not about just waking up early and then not really knowing what you're going to do with those time. Don't go and start cleaning your house. And I know some mums that just can't help to do all the domestic things and feel like that's productive. But I'm talking about things that could actually take your life to the next level. So mapping things out like, will you have more time to meditate, which is good for you? Journaling, doing your gratitude, exercising, just all those things that will be beneficial for you that you normally procrastinate and don't have time for. Not the things that are necessary that you think that needs to be done, which is the house cleaning. Because once you have that time to your morning to yourself, you start to work on important things like what do you really want in life? And you might even lead you to deciding that you want to outsource the cleaning, that you shouldn't be spending time on that. But when we get so caught up in the everyday life, we don't have time to step out of our life and decide what we want out of our days or out of our lives. So yeah, I encourage you, if you're a busy working mom like myself, do encourage you to try waking up early and, start slowly, whether it's half an hour earlier, 1 hour earlier, but eventually get to that point where you do have that 2-3 hours in the morning so that you can tick off all those important things for yourself and your family. Well, that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed some information there about how and why I decided to wake up early. But in the next episode, I'm going to share with you some of the things you can do to practice on how you can actually make it happen for you.